Hello again. All right, today I wanted to talk about something that came to me during a breathwork session. For those of you who don't know, I've been going through the Pause Breathwork Facilitator Program, and this is a new service I'm going to be offering. I am so freaking excited. I actually am currently offering sessions at an early bird rate. So if that is something that interests you, please feel free to reach out to me. But I wanted to talk about saying yes to the parts of you who already believe. What if you just leaned into that little sliver? Maybe there's just like a little piece of you deep down inside that truly believes you can make your dreams happen. What if you leaned into that and you started saying no to the fear, to the doubt, to the stories you're telling yourself about how you can't do this or why you can't do this? What if you took all of those, threw them in the back seat, you hopped back in the driver's seat, and you took off? You took control of your own life. You started driving again. I think that sometimes we get going on the journey of life, and this is like my perspective and my feelings. So I feel like is what happens is we move out of the house when we're 18, right? In my case, I was 19. I'd never lived by myself. So I got pregnant when I was 18. It was 2 months before my 19th birthday. So I'd always lived under my parents' roof, and so had my husband. And I think for a lot of kids, we eventually move out of the house, but we never truly, if we don't go out and experience life on our own and do all the things that we want to do and really allow ourselves to have those experiences, is what we do is we start shitting all over ourselves. We start or continue doing the things that we've always done in the way that we've always done them because that's how we were raised. That's how we were conditioned ever since we were a little kid. Well, this is how my mom would do it. This is how my dad would do it. And so I'm just going to continue doing it this way because it's comfy and it works. But we never take the time to really stop. And when I say we, I'm talking about myself. I never really took the time. Like, I don't want to generalize because some people do. In my case, I didn't. I didn't take the time to stop and really think about, what do I want in life? How am I going to get there? Is it possible? Like, I just didn't even contemplate these things because I was like, oh my gosh, I just got pregnant. My life is over. My dreams down the drain. I have to put myself on the back burner and just set all my dreams up on this shelf. And maybe one day when my kids are all in school or moved out, then I can go after what I want. What I have learned along this journey is that no, that is absolutely not the case. And I wish I could tell you. I mean, I did have some big pivotal moments in my life, but really what got me started on my own personal development journey and figuring out my life and deciding what I wanted and learning to take control, I just got pissed. Like, I was just pissed with the way that life was. And I knew because people were out there making millions, doing amazing things, loving what they do, working for themselves. Like, all of the evidence was out there, but I never believed that it could be me simply because I was now one of those teen pregnancy statistics. And what they tell you in school is only a very small percentage of these girls who get pregnant as teenagers make something of themselves, go to college, do whatever. I clung to that as truth. That was a part of my story. What I have come to realize is I actually get to be in control. And so one day, I remember I was just sitting there on the living room floor crying because I had two babies crying. Like, it was just hard. And I was like, there has to be more to life. We were living paycheck to paycheck. We were struggling. I was working. Dustin was working. Trying to find babysitters was terrible. Me and my sister-in-law swapped one day a week, and then that other day a week that I worked because we did 12-hour shifts. It all started to add up, and it all started to get hard. And I knew that that was not a life that I saw for myself ever since I was a little kid. I had big dreams. I wanted to be a millionaire. I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that. Well, where did that girl go? Well, that girl, I got pregnant. And suddenly, I became the victim to my circumstance. I stopped believing I could because now I had a baby on the way and I needed to find a job and I needed to take care of her. And my dreams didn't matter anymore because when you're chasing your dreams, you struggle and it's a hustle and it's hard and it's all of these things. And so I put that on the back burner. And what I want to tell you is if you're in this place, I see you. I get it. You're living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to get by, wondering how the hell you're ever going to get out of that. And what I want to say is it's a lot simpler than I ever thought it would be. It starts with baby steps. Baby steps lead to big results. And I used to listen to these podcasts and I used to see people on TV or wherever on Instagram. And I'd be like, well, it's easy for them to say now because they are where I want to be. And I never flipped my perspective. Like it took me a really long time to flip my perspective and be like, oh, if she can do it, I can too. It took me a long time to hit that point. But what it really took was me just getting pissed off knowing that I refused to live my life like that for the rest of my life. And the one pivotal moment, like the next pivotal moment for me, was not that long ago. It was just a few years ago. And I remember in entrepreneurship, I'm not going to lie, you hit these points where you're like, oh my gosh, should I just throw in the towel? Should I just like give it up? This is hard. This sucks. I'm not gaining any traction. I'm not, like you start to really look and it's a roller coaster. Like I will not lie to you. It is up and down. But I remember I was sitting on this call and one of the ladies on the call said, if you feel like life is hard right now, then why don't you do a little bit of hard work to get where you want to go and make it easier? Because either way, if you continue down this path and life continues to stay hard and never gets easier, you're choosing that. The time's going to pass anyways. So do you want to continue living in the hard that you're sitting in right now, being a victim to your circumstance, telling yourself you can't afford the coach, you can't afford a course, you don't know where to start, all these things. These were all things that I told myself for the longest time. For 8 years in my business, I was nearly burnt out. And I finally decided that's it. I'm hiring a coach. I need something if I want to make this work. And the thought of going back to like a regular 9-to-5 job kind of made me want to hurl. So you get to decide what you want your life to look like. Because for me, it was a no interest credit card for 12 months. That is how I hired my first coach. Like, if you want me to lay it all out there and give you open, transparent honesty here, that is how I hired my first coach. I would find a 12-month no interest credit card. I would hire the coach and I would get to work. Do not waste your investment. Hire the coach and then make your money back. If you hire a good coach and you borrow their belief until you have your own belief, you're going to do amazing things. You're going to make your money back tenfold and quicker than you think. But I just wanted to encourage you to see you can have the life that you want to have. And that desire is on your heart for a reason. But only you can chase it down. Only you can make it happen. You get to decide. And if you want to continue to sit in the hard, go for it. But if not, start baby stepping. So I just want to give you a few steps just to start moving yourself in that direction. Obviously, if you're here, you're listening to podcasts. And if not, maybe you found me on Instagram and is like, what is this all about? Find people, mentors who are where you want to go, who you look up to, who are in a similar life situation. So I've made one mistake of hiring a coach that didn't even understand my circumstances. She worked with billionaires and all of this. And so her kids were grown, out of the house, gone to college. And it was really hard for me to relate to her because my life looked so very different. I didn't have 8 hours a day to do whatever I wanted. I had little kids. I had nap time. I had all of these things. So when you're out there looking, if you're ready for a coach, right? You're ready for a coach. You're like, okay, I need to do something. Find one that's in a similar life circumstance as you so that they're more relatable to you. If they have kids and they're building a business with kids and you have kids and you're wanting to build a business with kids, hire a coach with kids. Find a coach that gives you good value for free on Instagram, here on the podcast, like I'm doing right now. Find that person who you resonate with, you like their personality, you like the content they're putting out, and it's tangible, actionable steps. I also made the mistake of jumping into a terrible mastermind. And had I really leaned in and like gone through her Instagram account, like, don't get me wrong, that circumstance needed to happen to get me to where I am for sure. But every single Instagram post was selling something. There was never any value added anywhere from her. And for me, that's big. So I was not aligned in my decision to hire that coach. So just make sure that it feels good to you, because if it doesn't feel good to you, or you get like that punch in the gut when you're going to hire the coach, that could be your body telling you something. This isn't the right fit. But don't mistake that for like fear and doubt for this isn't the right fit either. You're going to know. You're going to feel it. But anyways, so start a journaling practice. I absolutely love a gratitude journal. Changed my life as well. Create a gratitude practice. Mine is a simple notebook. I just write 10 to 12 things that I'm grateful for every day, and something that I've actually started doing right before the new year. So probably like December, I started writing a letter to myself from 1 year from now. So I'm future casting, but from the perspective of all of it has already happened and what that year looked like and how good it felt and just all of these things. So I'll be like, I'll write, okay, today I'll like write the date at the top of the paper and I'll be like, oh my gosh, what a year. Woo! Like we made it. Here's what happened. Like you did this and this and this, and you started making this much money and blah, blah, blah. And I will like write that letter. And so there's two ways to do this. Like if you're like, wow, writing a letter to myself every single day feels like too much, then just write a letter to yourself from 1 year from today and read it every day. I also have something that was required of us in our breathwork program is to record our future vision from 1 year from that day. And we listen to it every single day. So we really get in that energy and that feeling and that vibe and that frequency, right? And then we get to listen to it every single day. So those are two options that are great if you're trying to get where you want to go. And then another thing that you can do is like black journaling. Get all those nasty thoughts out of your head. So if you think about all of the thoughts in your head as fireflies in a jar and the lid is on tight, well, we want to twist that lid off and let them fly free, right? So if we twist that lid off and we spew all of our thoughts onto paper, no matter how good, bad, ugly, whatever, get them onto paper, then they're not bouncing around in your brain, clogging you up anymore. You have the freedom to think clearly. You are able to like look at those doubts and those fears on paper and realize they're just words. They don't have power. What has power is the action that you choose to take in your life. So if you are ready to say yes to the parts of you who already believe, then let's freaking go. Talk to you next time.